Esther.
Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. It is a wonderful, wonderful evening. We have our amazing Behind the Science call tonight. I'm Pamela Zimmer. I'm one of the corporate directors here at APLGO, and I have the immense privilege of interviewing our lovely Mary Esther Gilbert today. So while we have a couple co-hosts, I think Julia, you're kind of on the waiting room and you'll let people in. So we can get started. I do not want to delay because we have a lot to go over tonight. And then we have another amazing call right after. So I know we want to just get right into it and dive right in. So Mary Esther, I'm going to introduce you and I'm going to read your bio because you are just so amazing. I can't ever remember everything that I want to say and share about you. We've had the pleasure of having you part of this expert team at APLGO since I have been a part of APLGO, and you are just such a gift to all of us. So everyone, please get your pens and your notepads or whatever it is that you use to take notes because you are going to want to write all of this down. So, about Mary Esther Gilbert. She's got lots of letters behind her name. BSc, NSP, MSc, HN. I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones that I have printed on my paper. Mary Esther Gilbert is an honors graduate with a bachelor's degree in nutrition science and both a bachelor's and master's of science in holistic nutrition. With over 40 years of ongoing research of nutritional therapies, integrating the science and ancient arts of botanical medicine, nutritional healing, holistic fitness, and energy healing, drawing upon scientific research in the fields of biophysics, biophotonics, and bioenergy work, she works to help her clients successfully transform their health. Her True Health Mastery System uses evidence-based nutritional health improving protocols and includes both preventative and corrective nutritional health management. Her scientific and holistic approach brings results and builds awareness of one's own nutritional physiology when learning how to fulfill the body's daily nutrient energy requirements. She believes a holistic lifestyle holds the key to living life in optimal health vibrancy. And I think we all share that belief with her, which is why we're all here to learn from her. So please, everybody help me give her a warm, warm welcome. Please welcome Mary Esther Gilbert. And let's see, let's
Thank
unmute
you
you
so
there.
much. Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you. Yes. So tonight we are going to be focusing on MLS, um, which is one of our um, premier lines. It is for gut health. And instead of kind of going over all of the ingredients that are in MLS, we've done that. We have lots of prior recordings of those kinds of calls where Mary Esther, you go into each ingredient and the specific benefit. So we have a little bit different format of questions tonight, which is more of sort of like an overall general about MLS. So if you're ready, I'm ready.
Absolutely. Let's get
Okay.
started. Hurry, hurry. We have
Hurry,
55
hurry,
minutes.
right?
Okay.
Um, okay,
I'll
so
go ahead and share.
everyone, I'm sorry, what was that? Oh,
I'll
yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, Esther Wildenberg, Coach Esther was showing us the box of MLS. You can be Vanna White today. So okay, we've all heard and we've been hearing people talk about gut health and our gut being our second brain, or even sometimes our first brain. Can you speak to that?
Yes. So you recall the other call we did a couple of months ago about the gut-brain axis, where there's a super highway of information going from the brain to the gut at all times. And there's a different language that goes on. It isn't English. It isn't any language that we know of as humans, but the body communicates via these electrical impulses and biochemicals. And what's happening at the quantum energy level is really phenomenal. So our body has its own communication language so that all systems are involved, you know. So our gut is actually one of the most important things in the body in order to tell the brain what's going on in the body. So we have the gut-brain axis, that's that multi-directional communication network that links the entire, or the enteric or digestive system, right, with the central nervous system. And that involves the endocrine system, those hormone-producing glands, and the immune system gets involved. So all of these systems are communicating together. And this includes like nerve connections, the gastrointestinal tract, allowing the brain to influence all these intestinal actions, including influencing how the immune cells respond and all their actions. So this communication is very important. There's so many things that can disrupt it. We've got environmental toxins. We have bacteria that causes illness, the anaerobic bacteria. Those are present in the gut as well. So it's the aerobic bacteria, the good bacteria from the botanicals, on Earth that are in so many of our drops, and all those wonderful phytonutrient compounds that will keep that microflora, bad bacteria, from flourishing. And so there can be a battle going on. If you don't provide your body with the right nutrients, then there's going to be an overgrowth of the bad bacteria. So we want the good bacteria, all the foods that are the precursors for making sure that that environment is healthy. So therefore, these bacteria, they've got little brains of their own, and they communicate back and forth to the brain. There's that language, that occurs at this submicroscopic level that's going on all the time in the body. And the only way we can make sure that communication won't go into inflammatory responses, degenerative, health, the destruction of our tissues and therefore our cells, all that is going on in the body. So we want to make sure that that flora is actually good. So yeah, it's not our first brain, and I wouldn't even call it the second brain. It's kind of like all working together. It's all very synergistic.
I'm taking notes. Thank you. Yes, I like how you explained that it's a language that speaks between the two. So it's not our brain, but it's a language, a synergistic language. So that is a great explanation. Thank you. Would you say that people with healthier gut have better mental health? Because I've learned and through research, I know that we could have up to 80% of our mood receptors in our gut. So how does MLS support our mental health?
Yes, these communication networks are constantly being monitored, via the biochemical signaling by the chemicals that are produced from the glands in the brain and all over the body that influence our moods and emotional reactions, perceptions, how we perceive things and how we react to stress, that kind of thing. So these are very important for maintaining that communication. And so these receptor sites on every one of our cells, they are very sensitive to the kinds of moods we're in, but it also depends on your biochemical balance, the nutrients that are circulating in the body at all times that will provide what our cells need to communicate properly and to prevent problems that might be arising, such as stress, environmental toxins, those kinds of things. So this gut-brain axis communication network, which via the vagus nerve is what links all of these things together. And again, it's, the gut, the central nervous system, all these glands all over the body, and all the body fluids and the immune responses, the immune system cells are all constantly circulating in the body, just like the hormones are. And of course, so that's going to affect how fast or how efficiently we are converting food to energy, and all this immune system routes of communication, just constantly monitoring the body. So, yeah, people with a healthier gut do have better mental health because they're better able to not only just communicate to people, hey, I'm having a bad day, will you excuse me? Or instead of reacting in anger, like, oh, leave me alone, kind of thing. Or if you have, somebody who you need to communicate with and discuss the problem and work out a problem, a person who is very well nourished is more in a higher plane to be able to handle that kind of communication rather than allowing all these crazy neural pathways and hormones to go off and not allow the person to take control of themselves, that kind of thing. So they're constantly being monitored in the body, biochemical signaling by all these different things in the body. So The detections that go on in the body, they generate all these responses, depending on if the conditions are either adverse, like health threatening, or if they're positive, like life perpetuating. So it all depends on the level of deficiency or the level of nourishment or nutrient satiety in the body, respectively.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So we all should take MLS and be happy and be able to solve our problems and handle stress better.
Yeah, I also wanted to add, let me share my screen. Didn't
Oh,
feel the
yes.
need to do that until right now. So let me go ahead and do that because I want you to see this picture. Going to enlarge that. Okay, so I used this picture before, but I wanted to point out that if you recall, here's that brain and the vagus nerve and the cell
Mhm.
receptor sites on the cell membranes, and it just showed what all that's going on inside the cell. And even in excuse me, this is supposed to be a picture of the gut, the colon environment. So all these good and bad bacteria and one or the other is taking control, making the person sick or very well, and therefore, regulating their moods and the way they view the world. But I wanted to show you I'm not going to read everything. Of course, you can always print this out. I always put this on my website just so you know, Esther, that's what I do on a regular basis. So serotonin receptors, they're called the 5-HT, and these are the different types of cell receptor sites that are sitting on the gut wall. Okay, and so all these different kind of receptors, there's serotonin ones, dopamine ones, which as you can skim through here, I don't know if you can read it if it's as clear as I can see it, but there's also the norepinephrine receptors, the alpha and beta subtypes. I mean, you can get really technical on this. And of course, I provided with this really great scientific, reference that you can even delve even more deeply in this. And of course, they talk about the mechanism. Then you've got the opioid receptors and all kinds of other receptor sites that are sitting on these little tiny cell membranes, right? It's always so incredulous to think how much goes on at our microcell level. But I just wanted to show you what all of these different receptor sites are involved in. There's the fight or flight response. They play a role in mood and stress regulation. This is the norepinephrine receptors. All these different ways in which we respond to our world depends on how well our cell receptor sites are receiving the nutrient data and can be compatible with these cell receptor sites in order to allow nutrients inside the cells so that we can conduct ourselves and function optimally. So I just wanted to show you guys that.
Wow. And so all of those cell receptors are in our gut biome. Is that
Yes,
okay?
yes.
That's a lot.
That's not even the half of it. I mean, the human body is extremely
Yeah.
complex, and what goes on at the micro level, science is still discovering what our cell receptor sites do.
Yeah. I
They're
think
still
it's just
naming them too.
right. It's just mind blowing how minuscule and how much we break it down, 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 and even our little human brains sometimes can't comprehend how much actually happens in our body, like every millisecond. So I appreciate you doing your best to kind of not dumb it down, but um, speak to us
Not
in more of a
overwhelmed.
layman's terms. Yes.
Well, yeah, it can be pretty overwhelming. It
hmm
really can. And
Yeah.
so we get information overkill. So that's why I produce these documents so that, you can review it
Yeah.
and go into the science, which I present all the different references all the time.
Yes, and we appreciate that so very much.
Mhm.
Okay. So why do MLS and HPR work so well together? And I know that before we end tonight, we'll talk, that's our product of the month. The MLS and HPR is our detox kit, but can you speak to why those two in particular work so well together?
Yes, it's because the botanicals have been found to help the liver function better and to detoxify it because the liver is where every synthetic and all these toxins are stored until the other elimination channels can detect it and take it out and try to get rid of it. Okay. So, I mean, we can break out through the skin, we've got kidneys that will detoxify a certain amount of solutes that can go out that avenue. We've got the nodes in our lymph system that also hold synthetics. And so when you have swollen lymph glands, take a look at the kinds of toxins you might have been exposed to over time. This is, not eating organic, taking in too many of the pesticides in regularly grown food in the non-organic food growing industry, or some of the cosmetics and the synthetics that are in household cleaners. So the body retains all of these, and the poor liver is working overtime trying to get rid of it. I mean, its main job is to help the gallbladder process fats and to store also excess fats and all kinds of other things. It's a detoxifying organ. So all of these botanicals that I listed here for the heifer, as you can see, when you look at it from the perspective of, what does it do for the liver and how does it help the body detoxify, I picked out, exactly what these botanicals and their nutrient substances do for us. So as you all know, there are thousands of phytochemical compounds, and I'm listing just a few right here. And as you've seen from the other videos that I've done, you know that there are literally thousands. So done a lot of research on those, as you all know. So the milk thistle, the peach, raisins, turmeric, root, dandelion, avocado, artichoke, those are all have been tested by peer-reviewed studies over time that they are very, very good for helping the body detoxify, namely assisting the liver. Okay, so then we go on to how it's compatible with the MLS. And you've probably seen this chart before, but I think it's a pretty good summarization. I'm not going to read every bullet point, being mindful of our time here, but you can see, picking out, you see liver cleanses the liver, improves skin conditions, one of the other eliminative organs, protects the liver from free radical damage, those molecules that are stealing electrons from our cells and damaging our cells. Prevents formation of liver cancer cells, a huge preventative, kind of power in the botanicals that are in our drops, helping the immune system. I mean, you can go on. As you can see with the carnation seed also, it strengthens liver functions, helps the liver function properly, improves circulation. Anytime you improve circulation, you're going to have detoxification effect as well, antimicrobial, and then we go on to the chamomile, anti-inflammatory. Your body will have an inflammatory reaction when it has things that don't belong in the body. So it'll detoxify and cleanse. And also, as we know, our drops work at the DNA level to repair any damage that is occurred at the DNA level. So we've got all of these different systems in the body at the cell level that are being cleansed and assisted in their functions, So, it's a chain reaction of other benefits, like improves hypertension, all kinds of things, right? So now we've got the cinnamon bark, again, circulatory system, cleansing, detoxifying, preventing plaque on the nerve cells, impairing brain function, kind of thing. So it prevents all of these things. And then the coriander seed, of course, it's very good for helping to digest fat so that they don't accumulate in the liver. So the gallbladder is busy, producing bile, and the liver assists in that process in breaking down these fats so that we can utilize these essential fats in every single one of our cells and all these different systems and all the great things that the right fats do. But as you can see, they seem redundant, but they have different phytonutrient compounds. They're all at work, working in synergy together, providing the body with just about all it needs to repair itself, regenerate itself properly, and to improve its metabolic speed at which it works. I mean, when you have a high metabolism, you can burn fat faster, you have more energy, so you have a lot of great things going on with what these botanicals do and how they help the metabolism as well. Meanwhile, things like expelling parasitic worms, kind of thing, relieving nausea, and that's just the coriander seed. I mean, if you have the book, the second edition of the APLGO book, you'll know that this is just skimming the surface, right? So these botanicals are pansystemic. They actually do a number of things, and that's because everything in the body is so interdependent and always communicating. And of course, as you look at the cranberry, you've got the anti-inflammatory effect on the kidneys, uh, destroying the bacteria that causes illness here. Um, Radioactive substances and heavy metals, I failed to mention that earlier, and those are extremely important. I mean, they're everywhere, so we have to make sure we're always detoxifying from these heavy metals. Currant, the black currant, also antibacterial, all kinds of, well, here it is again, improved liver functioning, dandelion root, it's got a lot of cleansing, detoxifying functions for the gallbladder and the kidney kind of thing. Then we have fenugreek. It also is very important for digestion. The respiratory system comes into play because it has its own set of receptor sites in it and their cells, and also takes in a lot of toxins. We breathe in all kinds of toxins from the atmosphere these days. So we've got oh man, you can just go on the ginger root, a very close cousin to the turmeric root. So it goes in and destroys all kinds of things that cause illness, the anaerobic bacteria, the viruses, the fungi, and the parasites, those are kept in check. Again, all of these wonderful anti-inflammatory properties, getting rid of toxic wastes that accumulate in the body. There it is again. Then we have the grapefruit, of course, it seems like it's redundant and repeating the same thing, but actually it works in different ways in different body systems. The different body systems react to toxins and the lack of nutrients, over time. So these different phytochemical compounds that are in these botanicals, they will help address our DNA is very, very in tune with these phytonutrient compounds and their DNA in those plants, as you know. So, we just continue on and on. This is a very amazing formula. It's always been my very favorite. It actually does address all body systems. But in this case, we're talking about, just putting the two together, the HPR and the MLS, to help detoxify and protect the body against all of these bombardments of things that just don't belong in the body. So then we go through the mandarin, most of these compounds have been shown to be anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-this, anti-that. I mean, there's so many health issues that have been tested scientifically by peer-reviewed and collected by peer-reviewed studies and reported that they show how well these nutrient compounds will destroy cancer cells. These studies have been done both in vitro in the laboratory and in vivo on human and animal test subjects. So, when you've got that kind of science and you want to try something, you can probably be sure that your immune system is on top of anything. It's just right on top of things already. So as you can see, the papaya, I know we're coming to the end. It seems to go on and on, doesn't it?
Well, we know there's a lot of ingredients in this one, right?
Yeah, papaya. I mean, here we go. Detoxify the liver. I'm just going to pick out the ones that say liver.
Liver,
Watching the
right.
clock. Hurry, hurry. Okay. Pumpkin seed. Pumpkin seed. Oh, this is an excellent food for so many reasons. I can do a whole, hour just on every one of these botanicals.
Yes.
Coneflower, that's known for helping the immune system as well. Here it is, purifying the blood, kidneys, and liver. The sweetie, which is a pomelo and white grapefruit hybrid. So this has been shown to do everything that these other citrus fruits do, but on steroids, So this is a very potent plant. It's amazing how APLGO, whoever put these formulations together, it's so impressive. They obviously did their scientific homework. There's no way that they guessed and by gollied all of it,
Truly.
So then the thyme leaf, I love herbs. The herb kingdom are like concentrations of these healing properties. And then we've got the turmeric root, the turmeric, there's an overwhelming amount of scientific data on the turmeric and the ginger. So here we go. It's a cleansing, detoxifying, immune system protecting kind of formulation, and it goes super well with the HPR.
That's amazing. I just love all of the ingredients and how you picked out the ones that are specific to helping liver, which is what HPR targets. So
Yes.
can this MLS HPR combo take the place of a pre and or probiotic, and why or why not?
Okay. Yes. Especially the purple coneflower, the echinacea, and the artichoke. So when I came across the research, I saw that the polysaccharides in the purple coneflower, they are excellent prebiotics. Prebiotic meaning if you consume a food, then it will feed the good bacteria in the gut. But if you consume a probiotic, that means that those kinds of good bacteria are already in that food, like yogurt, buttermilk, and other foods that might have the live cultured yogurts already in them. So prebiotics are very, very important. You want to make sure that those are in your diet as well, just to maintain your gut bacteria so that you can have that superhighway communication wide open to the brain all the time, regulating your moods and being able to think and react to stress and that kind of thing. All right. So, and then like the artichoke. So it contains a thing called fructan inulin fiber, a certain kind of fiber, like the polysaccharides that can supersede needing to provide the body with probiotic foods. There it is, cultured yogurt and the beverages, fermented foods like sauerkraut, miso, kefir, and all these others. So with the aid of all these phytochemicals and all these different kinds of beneficial fibers, then you're going to have a healthy gut environment, that communication between all the cells of the intestines and signals to the brain. We all know that that's the gut-brain axis.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to share a quick little story because when I first started taking MLS, I struggled with it. It took me a few weeks to be able to take it regularly because every time I took it, I would have to go run to the restroom. So I never really had a convenient time unless it was at night. And that for me is what worked. So I started taking it at bedtime. And then after about 2 weeks, I was fine. Is it common for people to have this discomfort as they're getting onto MLS or as MLS is doing what it's supposed to do in regulating our gut? Um, or what, like why do some people have that, they have to be close to a restroom when they first start taking MLS?
Okay, this is a great, great question.
And I'm sorry if that was TMI, but hey, we're all here
No,
in the same boat.
that's right. That's right. We have to be getting clinical about this and not be shy about it.
Right.
Okay, so it depends on the person's health. If they have been taking in things that destroy the gut or even the intestines. If you're taking in white flour, white sugar, white rice, all of these refined carbohydrates that stick to the gut like glue and destroy the inner lining so that you can't break foods down, you can't digest them very well at all, and therefore absorb their nutrients, get those nutrients into the bloodstream so they can arrive at the cell receptor sites, right? That's why we eat. We have to break those foods down to that level, as we've said a few times before. So this is why it's so important to make sure you're eating those fiber, and the high water content foods and foods that, the only supplement that really will help break those substances down in the gut. And also because of the phytonutrients and the negatively charged ions, the enzyme action that's been preserved in the drops, they're almost like a living food, except for the fiber and the water content, and not as potent in the vitamins and minerals because they're rather small, because those types of nutrients are huge. And we'd have like gumball size, drops if we had put all those in there. But
Right.
so anyway, we have to, when's optimal? Yeah, okay. So if you take it before bed, then your body goes to work. When you're sleeping, it's going to be the best way to regenerate and repair, do the repair work. It's not distracted by stress. It's not distracted by extra circulation when you're moving about or, using your brain for all kinds of things, or just being more physically active or whatever, right? Challenging the body's processes in order to maintain you while you're awake and active. But when you're asleep, your body goes into this wonderful, deep, restful, regenerative state. So that's probably the best time for certain people who do have inflammatory problems or digestive problems in their gut, in their stomach, or whatever the whole digestive tract. If they have problems anywhere in that tract, then taking them during the day at first is going to send them to the bathroom, because there's a I wouldn't say violent, I don't advocate any kind of violent detoxification, which is very, very terrible for the body. Do not do that. But the gentle kind of detoxification that just sends you to the restroom is a good thing. It's just cleaning things out, repairing the tissues, and allowing your body to be able to absorb nutrients much more efficiently and much more correctly, you know. So yeah, but otherwise you can just take the drops at any time, and just see what works best for you. You
Mhm.
know, if it does make you run to the restroom more often, as long as it's not, something out of control. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with visiting the restroom more than once or twice and even 3 times a day. If that's what your body needs to do, you have to trust it. You just nourish it correctly and, make sure you're giving it the full range of all known nutrients and a lot of phytonutrient compounds, which are in the drops anyway. So you've
Mhm.
got it all there. And that's how you can, just control that or keep it in check. And after your body's all cleansed and detoxified, you're feeling up and energetic, you will be fine. You can take them at any time of day and go anywhere, anytime kind of thing.
Yeah, that was kind of my situation is, after my body sort of got regulated and I felt my gut be a little bit more balanced, now I can take them during the day, the MLS specifically, and I don't have any problem. And in fact, also being lactose intolerant, I used to take a lot of ice, especially after I would eat something with dairy. And I'm not like ridiculous where I can't have any dairy, but I also know dairy is an inflammatory food. And so certain things, like if I would have an ice cream or something, a special treat, I would be taking two, maybe three ice right after. But since I've been taking MLS regularly, I rarely have to take an ice at all. So what's the difference between those two?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the ice?
The ice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So ice has a lot fewer ingredients, but it's just designed to destroy any kind of bacteria that's causing any digestive upset or preventing nutrients to be absorbed properly. That's basically what the ice does. And there are things in there that will uh, help reduce that nausea feeling when you can't digest food. So it helps your body produce more of the hydrochloric acid, which is very, very important. And if there's any kind of damage in the stomach lining, you're going to feel pain. So it helps to repair those tissues and ensure that there aren't any bacteria that the bacteria that causes ulcers. I always get that mixed up with another bacteria, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by mentioning it. But it's the bacteria. I think it's gosh, I want to say Campylobacter, but every time I check myself, it doesn't end up to be Campylobacter. However, so yeah, so the ice is very good for repairing and soothing, and helping move things through and just allowing you to be more comfortable when you digest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yes, thanks. And I love the suggestion. Take MLS at night in the beginning if you need to, and then eventually you can incorporate it back into during the day.
I wanted to add something. You said our bodies get used to a regulated gut.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say the body. Okay, so when a person doesn't provide the body with the right nutrients, then the body has an amazing adaptive response. If you're exposed to toxins all the time, it's amazing how long we stay alive, before things start showing up and breaking down. It's breaking down, but not at the point where it's very, very obvious. A person might experience, some kinds of symptoms or fatigue or nausea or problems, with their regular bowel movements or whatnot. But it's not really something that the body is adjusting to. It's just reacting to.
Mm.
So we have a high capacity to adapt to all kinds of conditions. It doesn't mean that it has gotten used to any condition, good or bad, but when all the biologically correct or biocompatible conditions are met for what the body requires to adjust all systems toward optimal functioning, then getting used to restored health no longer applies because the body repairs itself. And it can be perceived as, oh, I got used to it, kind of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, the body's adaptive, but it's not going to get used to anything. It's going to just deal with it until it can't deal with it anymore.
Okay, that's a great distinction. Thank you for that. Um, Okay, we just kind of talked about that a little bit. But I don't know if there's anything more that you wanted to expand on because since taking the MLS, I don't take as much ice, and I know that I'm not the only one. I've had other customers tell me similar things, that once they incorporated MLS, they didn't need as much ice. Is there anything more that you wanted to expand on that?
Just really quickly, just a quick reference chart that I love to make for you guys, as you know.
Yes. We love your chart.
Constipate. Yeah, I mean, the science is really great about showing how it relieves constipation, cramping, diarrhea, pain, flatulence, sluggish motility, damaged tissues, all the things I've already discussed. I always get ahead of myself. High acidity conditions, if you're taking in too many inflammatory foods, then your pH is going to go way down. You're going to have inflammatory responses. So ice is pretty good for all kinds of different things having to do with the digestive tract.
Mhm. Cool. Thank you. So why should someone take MLS if they don't have a food sensitivity like lactose intolerance or gluten sensitivity or IBS or any of the other many gut health issues out there?
Look what it does. I mean, I love how it addresses every body system, right? The digestive system, the urinary system, the nervous system, the lymphatic, our little lymph nodes and the lymph vessels, the other circulatory system, the respiratory system, cardiovascular, the heart and the blood vessels, muscular, skeletal, integumentary, the skin, and endocrine, all these different glands that are in our brain and all over our bodies that help regulate everything, reproductive, systems. So these are the main body systems, and MLS has the botanicals, the phytonutrients, and other nutrient compounds that will make sure that all these systems are going to be functioning properly.
Yeah, and MLS, multi-spectrum, right? I believe that's
Yes,
what MLS stands for. So it's all of the body systems.
yes.
Yes, thank you. How does MLS support against parasites? I know you mentioned it in one of the ingredients up above when you were explaining. Can you speak to that a little more, please?
Yes, all of these phytonutrient plant complexes that are in these botanicals have been known to not only assist the immune system, make the immune system smarter if the DNA in the immune cells need repairing, then of course they'll be more awake and more alert and more able to detect things that don't belong in the body. But not only that, these phytonutrient compounds have been shown to actually act on their own. So they have the plant immune system, these fluids in the plants that are automatically going to not allow what doesn't belong in the plant, viruses, parasites, and all these other invasive microbials that a sick plant might have. So the fact that we have the botanicals in the drops that are grown in nutrient rich soils, the right ecology in the soils, that makes all the difference in how immune or how healthy the plant is. So all of these phytonutrients in plants grown in nutrient rich soils in the right environments are going to just act on their own as well. So this cleansing and detoxifying effect also expands to just inactivating all of these different kinds of microbials that make us ill. So the ginger root, papaya, pumpkin seed, and turmeric root have most of these anti-parasitic kinds of nutrient compounds in them.
Great. And then next question, we talked a lot about MLS and HPR. Are there other combos that work well together? For example, PFT, could it help with more potential weight loss results?
Absolutely. Yes. Brown algae. I wasn't familiar with that until I created the monograph for the PFT,
Yeah.
which I'm always shocked at how much science goes on behind the scenes on all of these botanicals. So much science. So one of the compounds in brown algae contains the fucoidan, and that inhibits lipids of fats like triglyceride that accumulate in the bloodstream when a person eats too much at one time. So even if you take in a lot of carbohydrates, not just fatty foods, then the body's going to convert it to triglycerides and store it as body fat somewhere, the liver, underneath the skin, around the organs. So the brown algae has been known to inhibit that process. So your body's going to either eliminate them or disassemble the molecule, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen molecule that is both carbohydrates and fats, depending on the molecular and atomic configurations. Then your body will just break it all apart and use the individual atoms for something else, for rebuilding something else. So uh, it's an anti-obesity agent. The icosapentaenoic acid and the fiber in it, it's in fat metabolism. So even though the MLS and HPR are working with the liver and the gallbladder and helping to regulate the amounts of fats that the body takes in, the PFT just zeroes in on it. If you're focusing on burning more body fat, then the PFT has been shown to help the body break down fat and use it for energy more readily rather than storing it for future use as an energy reserve in the body. So, all these things that it does. So the ginger root also, we've got that in the formulations. If you want to add for raising your metabolism for more energy expenditure and improving even further, the bile flow from the liver and fat metabolism. There's no way you're going to store too much fat if you've got these 3 drops, going on for you. So, all these other different types of nutrient compounds and things that the body makes, like choline, for transporting and utilizing the liver for fat metabolism. So then we've got chromium picolinate. This one has been really amazing over the years. I used to always recommend it to my clients when they had diabetes, because it helps regulate blood sugar and improves how the pancreas functions. And then you have the GTS. The GTS is going to accelerate your metabolism and help your cells produce energy more readily. So this is the GTS is the energy production, rapid metabolism kind of drop. So this is pretty much what I would say, that these 2, GTS and PFT, together with MLS and HPR, and you're ready to go to town,
Okay. So we're ready for summer then, right?
Yeah,
Swimsuit season.
that's right. That's right. Uh-oh, extra gym time. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to share that we didn't cover? I know we kind of went fast and we're mindful of time. I can look in the chat and see if we have any questions. I think we might have time for a couple, and I did see a couple. And then please also mention your website and your book. And I want to mention again that our product of the month starts this evening, and that is the detox kit. It's MLS with HPR, the HEPAR, and it's a BOGO, buy one, get one free. So for $100 wholesale US, you would get 2 boxes each of MLS and HPR. So that starts tonight. And then Mary Esther, we will get to enjoy your presence in Arizona with us at the 5th year anniversary celebration, April 26th. So we are thrilled that you are going to be joining us there.
Me too.
So
I can't
if
wait.
you want to mention just your resources while I'm sort of scrolling through the chat for questions real quick.
Okay. Yes. The notorious, should I say, APL Book Product Reference Nutritional Health Guide. Some of you have really gone to town and studied the heck out of that thing. I know Ruth has. She's got it all tabbed and highlighted. Reminds me of when I was in college, highlighting all these textbooks, right? Doing her research. Yeah, so these are the 2 links. If you, it's not on Amazon. It's on, I have a Lulu Publishing that will produce the book for us. So these are the links. I don't know if you want me to put these links. Actually, when you go to holisticchoices.com/APL, the APLGO page, the books can be ordered there. But yeah, when you print this out too, or look at it, on your computer, you can copy and paste it in any way you want to do that. So the printed version is available, and the ebook is available for immediate download. It does take Lulu about altogether, with the payment processing, that takes 3 to 5 days, and the printing process, all that, and the shipping, all that takes about 3 weeks or more, depending on where you are. So that's just to let you know up front that it takes a while to get the book. But so yeah, I mean, I want to also show that we have a lot of benefits, all the benefits that are having for having the book, all the book features, and just why it's important for everyone to have that knowledge. You don't have to study it so extensively and take it all to memory, but it's a good reference book. If someone has a question
Yeah.
about, prove to me that this is going to be working for me, you don't have to prove anything. You just have to show them the science, and that is irrefutable, and it's very difficult for anyone to contradict that kind of information. So I think it's a good tool. And then there's other books that I've written, and then there's my website. I mean, excuse me, the YouTube channel. When you go there, there's a whole education on nutrition and physiology, and how to eat properly and all kinds of things. I like to give out all kinds of free information. But I've also launched the True Health Mastery Institute. Some of you filled out my online form wanting me to contact you when it was available. So it's now launched, and I did contact everyone who filled out the form, just so you know what's out there. I posted it on Facebook. So I have a marketing, campaign ready to go on that. And then also there's a course called Nutritional Synergy, which it goes with my Nutritional Synergy book. So if you want to, get a hold on your nutritional health, my Nutritional Synergy system has been proven to help with all manner of, conditions that I think that it's important for people to know about and to educate themselves about.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate your expertise. And you guys, if you do not have the book, I highly, highly recommend it because, like Mary Esther said, it's just our spot to go to research things so that we don't need to have the brain that she has that retains it all and knows it all. She did all the work for us, she did the research for us. I always say be the librarian, not the library. So you can know where to go find the answer in her book. It's absolutely, absolutely valuable. We have a couple minutes left, and I didn't know if you could answer just these two questions that I saw in the chat. One is from Lori. When pathways in the brain are altered by trauma, does it affect the ability of the nutrients to communicate with receptors?
Yes. We talked about how in epigenetics, especially the methylation process, life changes how our brains process information. We form new neural pathways. And if you haven't seen that video, please go to the YouTube channel and take a look at that, because life changes how the brain perceives things, but it can also be reversed. That's already been shown, pretty widely in the scientific community, that these methylation molecular groups that attach themselves to the DNA are just like, added information for the DNA to process how we perceive our world. So, that's what we should do, is just manage our stress, nourish ourselves completely and correctly, do all the right things, take good care of yourself, and, sleep and regular sleep and hydrate and exercise, get out there. Going outside is the best medicine because you're breathing in all that oxygen. And if you touch the trees and put your bare feet on the ground, science has shown that all these, negatively charged ions, your body will absorb, and it'll neutralize all of these things that may be wrong in the body, neutralizing those free radicals and improving how your body repairs itself, that kind of thing. So psychologically, physically, even spiritually, we're out there in the world and we're connecting, with everything. So yeah, that's all of that is important.
Yeah, thank you. And then Kathleen has a question. What about MLS with the powers to build healthy hormone communications?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're nourishing the nervous system, we're nourishing the hormones, we're correcting any kind of damage to our cells in those systems. So they're going to improve how they communicate, and we can't stress that enough, is communication is the key. All of your systems have to communicate together. So absolutely, we do need that. We do need to make sure that our systems are all communicating correctly and keeping us balanced.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, we could use MLS with any one of our other 18 drops, right? And it would pair with anything because like you said, it's MLS, it's multi-spectrum, it addresses all of the body systems. It's not just for people who have some kind of gut health issue that they're wanting to work on. So we could, you know, we have a lot of people who pair it with the BRN, the Brainy Drop, and Relax, or, you know, the with Grow for immune support. So I think that MLS, in my mind, is one of the, if you could only take one drop out of all 19, which one would it be? A lot of 99% of the time, I will tell people MLS. What is your thought on that?
That's always been my position as well. You know, the other ones are super good also, but MLS kind of covers it all, kind of thing. But in the book, it explains so much more about what each of these botanicals do in the body. And every time we have these calls, I have to glean a little bit of information just to give people an idea of what these drops can do. But if you want to know what these botanicals do, especially in the MLS, we're talking about the MLS today, the GTS, the HEPR, you know, and the PFT. The book has so much more information in it that you will be overwhelmed. When I was putting the book together, I was so excited. I thought, I cannot wait to share this with everybody. Oh my gosh, look at all this. Look what these botanicals do, you know. So I was so happy when I finally was able to share the book. And yeah, it's a labor of love. And I want all of you guys to experience what it's like to be optimally healthy. I know you're all discovering this with the drops, but to to be the beacon of hope and light to everyone. You know, that's what you all are. I see all these vibrant faces here. Uh, and so that's what we are here to do. You know, we have to get the word out. The true health movement is here, and we are kind of satellites, and we have to kind of get this information out to the masses, kind of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mary Esther, thank you again so much for your time, your expertise, your research, your heart. We just can't thank you enough. This call has been very informative. I know when I'm on this side interviewing you, it's a whole new level of learning for me because I'm taking notes and paying attention, and having to go back and listen to the recording so I can actually hear what it is sometimes. That I missed because I'm so focused on you. But I just want to, from everyone, I think we all are just very blessed to have you, and can't wait to get our little hands on MLS if we haven't already. So thank you again so much. Again, holisticchoices.com/APLGO. And then if you haven't gotten your ticket for the Arizona event, make sure you do that, because Mary Esther will be there. And if you think she's amazing on Zoom, just wait until you get to hear from her in person and feel her energy, and maybe even give her a hug. We just love you so much. So thank you again, Mary Esther. And if you all want to in the chat or do your little Zoom clap, I don't know, Julie, if we can all unmute and say thank you, but we just so appreciate you, Mary Esther.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. You know that I feel so honored and so blessed to be able to get this information out there. So yes, thank you, everybody. And I have so much love for all of you. I cannot wait to go. When I get on stage, I kind of, I over, all this energy comes spilling out. So you'll have to excuse me if I start jumping up and down on stage. I
We'll
have to
jump
know to
up
do
with
that.
you.
Yes,
Yay.
we
Yeah, let's do
will.
that.
All
Let's
right,
do that.
ready?
Okay.
1, 2,
Two,
3.
three.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mary
Mary
Esther.
Esther.
Thank you so
Yay!
Thank
much. It
you.
was
Thanks,
amazing.
everyone.
Thank
Stay
you.
all
Lots
these.
of
We're not
information.
going away. Everybody
Thank
stays.
you.
No, everybody stay.
Thank
Everybody
you.
stays.
Thank you. Now,
Mary
is this
The
Esther,
meeting
awesomeness continues.
Mary Esther, you're a genius. Like, I love listening to you.
No,
And you
not a
make it,
genius, just
for me, you are. And
passionate, you know? Is this meeting for
well,
associates or leaders only, this next meeting coming up?
this is for everyone in the whole company.
Okay, so you know, I re-enlisted as an associate. Haven't started working it yet because I was busy with the institute, but I'd like to stay on if that's okay with everybody,
Of
because
course,
I'm an
yes.
Yeah.
associate too.
Please,
Yes,
please,
for
yes.
sure.
Okay, I'll be
Yes.
quiet now.
No, you don't need to be quiet. We're gonna be interactive here.
I'm gonna stop this recording, however.
Thank you, Pamela.